Rich Lady Knits. My name is Kristen, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Hook and Gauge, and the show notes for this podcast can be found at www.hookandgauge.blogspot.com. I hope you're all doing really well. Today is January 31st, 2016, and I can't believe January is coming to an end. Where is this going? I just don't even know. So, I hope you all had a great first month of 2016. I hope that where you live, the weather is good. I don't know what good means for you. Some people really like the snow, some don't. We had some of Winter Storm Jonas here with us last weekend in Raleigh, so much so that we actually, I didn't make it into church on Sunday, so we had probably about an inch of ice on the ground. It was pretty crazy, so only the people who could walk to the church went in, so it was kind of nice, I'll be honest, to have a Sunday morning off. It was really nice. So anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope that if you were in the middle of Winter Storm Jonas, that you are thawing out, and that your damages were minimal. We got very lucky here. We didn't lose power in my part of Raleigh, but I know some people did. So anyway, this is like the most beautiful, glorious weekend ever. It's really sunny, warm. We're probably up in the 60s today, which is so crazy, but welcome to North Carolina, which is a lot like Texas was. I grew up in Texas, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time today. And it's sort of a big joke in Dallas that if you don't like the weather today, don't worry, it's going to change by tomorrow. So, yeah, but anyway, I hope you're all well. Today's going to be kind of a short episode, I think, because I have a meeting I've got to go to here in a little bit. But I wanted to get something up because it's one of my New Year's resolutions to at least film or put up an episode twice a month. So, and also I just want to show you all a few things. So, we'll get started. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. The coffee is slowly starting to take effect. I was a bit of a zombie earlier this afternoon. So anyway, we're going to start with what is on my needles. We'll start with the least exciting project. This, I showed you all last time. This is Hannah Fettig's Georgetown cardigan. And I've learned a lot already from this. So I have finished the body, I finished the back, and I finished that other side. So now I just need to seam up the shoulders and pick up stitches for the sleeves. So far, I am enjoying it. I had hoped that I could block this a little bit, see how it's rolling because it is stockinette. I was really hoping... I was hoping that I could block it so that way the edge would be a little less curly so I could see better when I go to pick up stitches. But I discovered this yarn, this is Lion Brand Wool Ease. It just has too much acrylic in it to really block nicely. So I think I could steam block it, but I didn't want to get into all that just to do that. So anyway, this would not have been my first choice of yarn. I probably would have chosen Quince & Co. or something like that. But it was given to me by a neighbor, and I really wanted to use it. And it's a pretty color. And honestly, it's kind of a joy to knit with. It's really not too bad. It's got, you know, some nice elasticity to it and a nice feel. But anyway, I think the length is going to be really good. And I think it'll fit. The armholes, when I was kind of holding it up to myself, definitely fit. So hopefully, like, I won't need to block it to gain fabric. I'm really hoping that's not the case. But if I do, I guess we'll experiment with steam blocking. But, oh gosh. But anyway, so, again, I just haven't really been drawn to pick this up because the next few steps are ones I'm not really sure about because I've never done shoulder seams before. I have found a good YouTube video that I think will help. I just need to watch it a few more times to kind of really get an idea and just really take my time with it. So, and also winter's not coming to an end here. We still probably have a good another 6 weeks or so, but this is definitely not going to get finished in time for winter this year. So maybe next year. So I'm trying to cut myself a little bit of slack. But again, that's this is a Georgetown by Hannah Fettig from her Home and Away collection. To me, like I've said before, it kind of reminds me of a worsted version of the Featherweight. It has a nice big ribbed sort of lapel that goes all the way around, and it's really nice. So hopefully that will become an FO at some point. Next, maybe a little more exciting, I showed you all last time that I had started Paula Emons-feussle's Balsam Hollow shawl, which came out with the little skein and the big wool Anne of Green Gables kit. in 2014. Sorry, my phone buzzed. But I am about halfway through the lace. I worked on this a lot during our snow time. Let me see. Yeah, y'all are seeing the right side. So I'm about halfway through the lace. It's really not difficult. I just haven't, I've kind of been working on some other stuff. So really enjoying it. I have a few O's in some places, but I think I got them rectified. So hopefully they won't be too visible. They'll be visible to me, I know, but maybe not to everybody else. So anyway, yeah, it's really nice. This, of course, is in the I'm sorry, I'm picking off Corgi here. This is in the Leading Men Fiber Arts callback base, which is their sport weight base. It's a superwash merino, and it is in the Green Gables colorway. And it's a very squishy kind of fabric. Or spongy, I would say, more so than squishy. It's kind of spongy because you're knitting it at a little bit of a looser gauge than you normally would be. So yeah, it's turning out nicely. I'm kind of proud of myself. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it, but yeah, so you've got this really nice center stitch that runs down the length of the shawl. And I really like it because the lace is, when I say memorizable, I mean the row, like, so you'll have, a section and you, of course, repeat it all the way, up one side of the shawl and down the other. And that is very memorizable. Like, usually after about 2 or 3 repeats, I've got that part memorized. And then, like, the sort of your easy row, if you want to call it that, basically you just have a way you start it, and then it's the same combination of knits and purls, and then you have a way that you finish it. So that's really nice. So honestly, it's not too taxing. It's not like some of the other projects that I've done where it really takes a ton of brain work. You have to focus a little bit, but it's not too awful. So anyway, that is going quite well. And and I have it, of course, in my little skein in the big wool and a Green Gables bag, which I'm so excited to have it in this project bag that it was made for. So I really love that. I've been oogling on her shop. She's got some cute stuff up there now too. But anyway, she does some really nice bags. So if you haven't gotten a little skein bag, you should, because they're very nice. The last thing that is on my needles, I feel like I'm sort of like machine gunning it through this, to use a rather militaristic and violent image, are my Regia socks. I did cast on the Summer Night yarn that I purchased in Dallas from the Arnie and Carlos design line with Regia. I think I said Regia. And here's the first one. I'm a teensy bit worried because I'm afraid it might be a little big. I'm doing the same 64 stitch cast on that I did before. And because it does seem to fit, I haven't tried this one on, but the other ones I did, it did seem to fit my calf. But for some reason this just feels a little bigger. I don't know why. Maybe my gauge is kind of loosening up as I'm getting used to getting used to Magic Loop and to the small needles. But I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully I'm not like blocking that with my finger. But this is my first Regia yarn to knit with, but also it's my first kind of faux Fair Isle, that kind of color work. And it's really impressive, actually. I'm quite pleased with it. I think it's pretty cool. The cuff, I don't know how long the cuff is. What I did was I knit sort of until I was done with one color, and then I cast on the second one. I went and found that same spot on the skein and cast on the second one and did the same thing. So that way I could be sure that they were almost identical. So hopefully they will be. So I'm going to finish knitting the whole ankle or the whole cuff for this one. I think I am going to do about 6 inches since I am a little worried that it'll be too big. That way it'll fall a little higher on my calf, and I kind of like my mom. I sort of have very shapely calf muscles, so hopefully this will help. Because I did that with her socks. I made them a little longer, so that way they would hopefully fit. But yeah, really pleased, really pleased. So I have those. And then, I don't have any FOs this week, but I have a maybe in the frog pond. I was talking about how the lace on the Balsam Hollow doesn't require my utmost focus. Well, this project does, and that's probably why I have not bothered to finish it. But those of you who watched the Hook and Gauge podcast, you'll probably remember that like a year ago, I took a cables class at Warm and Fuzzy, my local yarn shop. And the project we did was Jared Flood's Habitat hat, which, if you don't know, the whole thing is just cables. I mean, it's like you get no real break from the cabling action. So I started that in Malabrigo's Indicita, but then I put it in Indicita. Then I put it down for too long and had not properly marked on my pattern where I was. So when I picked it back up, I had no idea where I was. And so that was a problem. And then I thought I figured out where I was, and that was not really where I was. So anyway, I thought I would start it over. And I'm using the Shepherd's Wool by Stonehenge Fiber Mill in the Citron colorway. Maybe it's lime. I think it might be lime. I keep calling it citron, but I think it's lime. And the reason why it's in the frog pond and hasn't just been completely frogged is that, one, I really want, just for my sake, to finish this pattern. But I'm not super crazy about this color. It's not terrible. Like, when I opened the bag before I started the episode, I was like, that's not nearly as bright as I remembered it being. It's a little more muted, but I'm just not really crazy. I love the yarn, so I think if I were to make it, I might actually have to go buy like a skein of gray or something, or plum in this base, because it's really, really soft. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this color yarn, because this just really isn't a color that I gravitate towards. So part of me is like, if I'm going to put forth the effort and the trouble to make this hat, I want to do it in some yarn that I really like. So that's why I think this might end up getting frogged. In fact, as I'm sitting here saying this, I'm convincing myself that it needs to get frogged before I get any further on it. So yeah, but anyway, that is my Habitat hat by Jared Flood. It's a great pattern. It's written very well, but it is lots of cables, lots and lots of cables. So that's why, maybe I need to do something where I do like a row a day on it. I could probably finish it in about a month and a half if I did that. So maybe that's what I'll do. That'd be good. But anyway, so those are what I have on the needles, and maybe what's about to come off the needles. But yeah, I feel like it's been 2 weeks. I did not get to go back to knit night either week. We had a church meeting, and then, long story short, I was given a piano by a church member, which was so exciting, but that was on Wednesday. But the dog kind of had a bit of a panic attack on Wednesday night, and I promise I'm not like the dog parent that's like, oh, he's so insecure or whatever. But I mean, really, it was kind of scary, like shaking, trying to burrow into corners. Speaking of which, buddy, no, you can't have that. That's not for you. That sort of behavior. And so I was a little apprehensive to leave him alone on Thursday. So I decided to stay home. Rory, okay. I decided to stay home with him just to, make sure that he was okay and that, we wouldn't have to end up going to the vet or anything like that. But anyway, all was well, but needless to say, I didn't really get to knit night, which I was really hoping to. So hopefully this week and next week before I film again, I'll have some more progress done, and I will have gotten to go to knit night. So I have an exciting crochet project that I'm not quite ready to talk about because I haven't cast it on yet. So we'll see if I actually do that too before the next time. So next what I wanted to talk about was I got some stash enhancement. And I'm going to do a shop update, but I'll do that at the end, so if you're not interested, you don't have to watch. Hang on one second. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, I'm going to set this over here. Sorry for the buzzing. I am super excited about this. When I first started knitting, I looked at Susan B. I think it was on Susan B. Anderson's blog. She had just made a pair of Hudson Bay socks, and I thought that was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And being really new to knitting and sort of the world of quote-unquote luxury fiber and indie dyers, I went on Etsy it's Jody of Fishnets is who made up that yarn, that self-striping yarn, and it was called Canadiana, and I went on there and I bookmarked it, not really realizing that that was probably a limited edition offering. And so a couple of months ago, like maybe back in like September or October, of 2015, I thought, I need to go on there and see if she still has it, and I was already thinking she certainly does not. I'm sure she's not dyeing it anymore, and of course she didn't have any in her shop, and so I was like, oh man, and so I kind of kept thinking about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to send her a message and see if there's any way she'd be willing to dye me up some Canadiana, thinking, there's no way she's going to be tired of doing it, I totally get it. I'm sure Susan's blog post made her wildly popular, and I'm sure, she's probably sick and tired of dyeing up this colorway. So I messaged her, and she said, sure, I'll dye you up some. And I just about fell out of my chair. I was very excited. So she did, and I think just due to it took a little while to get here, but I think that was due to some sort of other things going on her end. But she was very gracious and really wonderful to work with. But anyway, she dyed me up some, ta-da, Canadiana. So this is what you use to make the Hudson Bay socks, and I will link to Susan's blog in the show notes. And she has a really helpful blog post that talks about how she did it to where she really got 2 equal socks. Because I was kind of worried about that, because you're obviously going to have to, I'm going to have to break this into 2 skeins. But I am so excited to make myself some Hudson Bay socks. It'll be really fun. But yeah, it's an 80/20 superwash. This is on her, I think it's Strong Heart is the name of the base. And you get 400 yards. And yeah, it's just really nice. Really excited about it. So you can see, of course, the color. Those are going to make the stripes at the top of the sock. And most of the sock will be white. And this is like the softest. It's so soft. It has a very high twist, so I'm sure it'll be really nice and strong. But it's just a very soft, squishy kind of yarn. So I am like over the moon excited about that. And I'm just so excited. Like, I'm just really excited. I've been looking at that yarn for a long time, and I was just thrilled that she'd be willing to do that. So go check out her shop. She has so many other really cool colorways, and I think she's having a sale right now where you can get 20% off your whole order. So I will link that. I will link that in the show notes. All right, so the last thing, I feel like this has been like a very fast sort of boom, 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 boom sort of episode. Oh, I'm sorry. I spooked the dog. It's okay. It's okay. I went to do a shop update. So if you're not interested, that's totally fine. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, or if you're watching this on Monday, I hope you're having a great week, and we'll see you next time. But for those of you who are interested, I'll tell you a little bit about what's been going on in the shop. If you've been over there, it's hookengage.etsy.com. You've noticed that some of the branding has changed a little bit. I don't know, I just kind of felt like I really like that minimalist look that I had before, but that's not really me. Like, that's not, I think that's me, like, trying to be trendy, but I'm definitely a little bit more, I don't know how to describe my style, but all that is to say, what I have up there now fits, I think, a little bit more of kind of some of the things I gravitate towards and that sort of thing. And I was also trying to think of, as I work on things for the shop, like color palette and sort of that kind of thing. But anyway, that was a very convoluted way of saying that I've sort of changed some of my branding. If you haven't been over there, here's one of my new tags that'll go on my bags. So yeah, I make these in-house. I just print them off and cut them down to size. But yeah, I've got some nice little kind of florals and like kind of vintage flowers. And this really neat, sort of, almost reminds me of like Harrods of London, like that kind of, that H. So really neat kind of script there. So yeah, really pleased with how that's turned out. I just updated the shop. I did sort of a mini update, and I'm really excited. So I want to show you all some of what's up there. Sorry, this has been kind of a long day already, and the coffee is clearly not helping entirely. So I'm a little bit sort of bumbling all over myself. So I have one size bag and 2 different fabrics. And I have kind of redesigned it a little bit. This is what I'm calling Billy Goat's Bluff. And it has all these little goats running around flowers. And what I have done is I have attached the strap to the side. It's a nice, generous Size strap, nice and secure. I just like that. I figure that way this really could truly be like a standing knitting bag, because then you could just unzip it. Because before I had the strap on the zipper, but that kind of makes it a little easier. So yeah, this is Billy Goat Bluff. And this is about 9.5 inches tall by about 11 inches wide. So it still is a really good size. I mean, this would definitely be plenty of space for a shawl or a child's sweater, maybe some small garment knitting, definitely crochet, maybe even some embroidery projects too. So I have in that same print, I have some of my small notions pouches, which are the same size, but they've been kind of redesigned with the nice unbleached canvas and the batting. It just gives them a bit more of a substantial feel, which I've discovered I kind of like that. I had made one for myself, and it just has a good feel to it. I feel like it holds up a little bit better. This is the large notions pouch. And this is also good for circular needles or those bigger notions. Like I keep some of my stitch holders, like the big clips, and some of my pom-pom makers are in mine. So nice size. Again, that unbleached canvas with the batting. Again, in that little Billy Goat Billy Goat print. Let's try that. And then this I'm excited about. This is a straight needle case. It's just a straight needle pouch. And it is 12 inches long, so it'll fit straight needles up to about 12 inches. This fits pretty much all my straights fit in here. Even my Tunisian hooks will fit in here. So it's nice, generously sized. You can fit many, many pairs of straight needles in there. And I only have it in this print. So in the second print, I don't have one of these, but I just didn't have enough. There wasn't enough fabric left to make one in that size. So the second fabric that I have, I absolutely love. This is what I'm calling We'll Always Have Paris. And it has this precious lady reading as she walks by a lamppost. And of course in the background you have like all of this French text. And again, it has the strap. And these are all lined with that unbleached cotton canvas. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And in that same print, we have the small notions pouch. I didn't make any big ones in this, but we just have this nice little smaller notions pouch. And these are great for stitch markers, all sorts of like darning needles or yarn needles. I love that. Her little shoes. So that is what is up in the shop. So go check it out. The bags are $20. The project bags are $20. The smaller notions pouches, these are $8, I believe. The needle case is $12, and the large notions pouch is $10. So go check those out. Those are listed now. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope that all is well where you are. And I'm sorry this was kind of a fast feeling episode. Hopefully we'll get a little more time to chat. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but I've got to run back to church for a meeting here in a bit. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great week, and we'll talk soon. Bye!